I've got some big news, and I mean some really big news. Panasonic's about to announce a new camera, and it's going to have a brand new autofocus system in it. And this information is coming from a reliable source. All this coming up shortly. But first, I encourage you to subscribe and choose all notifications so that way you can stay up to date on the latest camera gear, news, and rumors. On November the 24th, I put out this video here where I talked about two new leading autofocus systems for a new Panasonic camera. The first one coming from 4/3 Rumours, and others talked about a new LiDAR system that's going to be in these cameras. However, I noticed something else. You see, Panasonic has already announced a new PTZ camera that's supposed to be coming out in 2023. And the camera's called the AWUE160, and it's equipped with a newly developed phase detect autofocus system that enables high-speed focusing and can be used to shoot fast-moving subjects. And that's actually coming from Panasonic's website. That's actually information that's coming out. However, on December the 8th, just last week, I put out this video here where I talked about how major content creators, and no, I don't put myself in that because I wasn't invited, and that's why I'm talking to you about this. You see, Panasonic has gathered all the major content creators in Japan, and I speculated, well, why could that be? Well, information that I had at the time was indicating that they're all there because Panasonic's about to make a major announcement. Could it be a new autofocus system? Could it be a new camera? Well, I'm happy to tell you today that both of those videos help shake the tree, and I've got a very reliable source. Somebody, well, I can't tell you too much information because the last thing I want to do is throw anybody under the bus, get anybody in trouble, but this is really exciting news. Panasonic is about to make a major announcement. We don't know if that's going to be on the heels of CB+, but we do know the announcement is going to be soon. And this new camera, well, it's going to be based off of the S5. We don't know if it's going to be called the S5 Mark II, but it's going to be largely based off of the S5, and it's going to have a brand new autofocus system. And this autofocus system is going to show up in all Panasonic cameras from here on out. It's not going to be LiDAR. So my sources told me it's definitely not going to be LiDAR. And are you ready for this? That contrast detect, depth from defocus autofocus system. I mean, it's right in the name, depth from defocusing. It's not a true autofocus. It's fighting with itself. It's like that Dr. Jekyll and Hyde. On one side, it's trying to focus. On the other side, it's trying to defocus, and you get that constant hunting. Well, good news. That's not going to be in the new camera either. So it's going to be based off of phase detect. It's going to have a brand new phase detect autofocus system. I don't know if it's going to be based off of the new phase detect autofocus system that Panasonic has announced in that new PTZ camera, the AWUE160, which is due to be released in the first quarter of 2023, and that camera has already been announced. So some really good news there. And I know what you're thinking because, well, I was thinking it myself. Canon and Sony are the two leading companies in the stills hybrid camera market with autofocus systems. So if Panasonic finally does come out with a phase detect autofocus system, is it going to be light years behind those two camera companies? Sure, it'll have phase detect autofocus system, a phase detect autofocus system, but it's going to be like it's back in, well, 2013 or 2014. Well, I've been told by this source that the new phase detect autofocus system is, well, it's supposed to be better than anything on the market today. So that means better than the Sony FX30, the FX3, the Canon EOS R5, the Z6 Mark II, the Z7 Mark II. It's supposed to not only come out, Panasonic is going to be announcing not only a new phase detect autofocus system in a new camera based off of the the S5, but it's going to be better than the competition. Now, maybe that might be some hyped up messaging. Maybe that's just, I can't say too much because I don't want to risk throwing anybody under the bus. But let's just say that I think from my point of view, I think it's going to be just as good as Sony and Canon with their phase detect autofocus system. Maybe it will be better. Maybe the Panasonic autofocus system can start tracking UFOs, or I think we call them UAPs now. Now that would be better than Sony and Canon. Yes, I know what you're thinking. What about the L-mount Alliance? Yeah, that was a really bad. I'm sorry, I can't do that like Fro knows. I love the way he does the L-mount Alliance. So does this mean, because we're going to do a new phase detect autofocus system, is this going to work with all those existing lenses? Are you going to have to start all over again, purchasing new lenses for full frame cameras or micro four thirds cameras? Yeah, I don't think so. I can't tell you anything else, but I definitely don't think so. I think if you're a current Panasonic customer, you're going to be very happy with the news, unless, of course, over the last couple of weeks, you saved yourself $500 by buying the S1H or the GH6. Did you spot those sales? The sales over the last couple of weeks? I mentioned them on my channel several times, And I kind of did a bit of a, $500 off the GH6. Panasonic doesn't often put a big sale on any of their GH cameras, certainly not one that was released this year. $500 off, and $500 off the S1H? Yeah, $500 off both of those cameras. You know what that's telling me? They're trying to get rid of a whole bunch of inventory, because think about this. If they are about to announce a new camera, a new phase detect autofocus system that's better than the competition, or at least as good as the competition, you don't have to toss out your old lenses and switch to a new mount. Are you going to buy old cameras? Are they going to be just sitting on the shelves? I think that would make basically the old technology, well, pretty much irrelevant, unless, of course, you're pretty happy to shoot with manual focus. And you know what? I have no problem shooting manual focus too. I shoot manual focus all the time when I'm doing product shots and a lot of that stuff. But when I'm shooting right here in front of a camera, I'm a one-person crew. I need everything ready to go. So as soon as I got this news, I quickly scripted a few points here to make sure I didn't miss anything. And then I came down here, turned the camera on, turned the lights on, and it's been running with autofocus. And unless I get a little bit too far away from the camera or from the lens, I never have to worry about the autofocus system breaking. So I'm really excited by this news. And one of the reasons why I'm so excited about this information, I'm breaking it before anybody else. This channel, this little piddly channel from Northern Canada, is finally starting to, well, strut its legs. I'm now close to 35,000 subscribers. Just in the last couple of weeks, I also broke other information about when the Canon EOS R6 Mark II was supposed to be announced, and I got it down to within 30 minutes. Remember that live stream I did? I got almost 800 concurrent people watching, 749 people watching, and we brought in the new year, well, the new day with the Canon EOS R6 Mark II, and that was pretty impressive. So it looks like as I start to put out more of these videos, I'm starting to shake that tree and I'm getting information back. So if you're a Panasonic owner, I think this is great news. I think you want to start saving up your money and waiting to see what this announcement's going to be, what new camera is going to be coming out. Is it going to be based off of the S5 Mark II? And we did have a rumor many months ago saying that Panasonic's going to be releasing two cameras, the S5 Mark II, which is supposed to replace the S1, and of course something like the S1H, but there wasn't any validation about that. And still, we don't know the exact camera. I wasn't given all the detailed information, but in terms of a camera, it's going to be very similar, I would imagine, in terms of pricing and capabilities as the S5, but in a more newer version, a successor. It's going to be better all around, especially with a brand new autofocus system. And if you're not a Panasonic customer, if you're tired of Canon's approach to third-party lenses and you're thinking of switching to Sony, I would hold off a little bit here. Let's wait and see what Panasonic has to do. If you're a photographer, well then, yeah, you know what? Go ahead and go to Sony. But if you're a videographer and you don't know too much about Panasonic other than their autofocus system, you really want to stay tuned to this, because when it comes to the video features, the video capabilities, I mean, when you press the record button, the waveforms, vector scopes, histogram, they don't go away. Yes, it shoots log footage. It has great dynamic range. Even for the Micro Four Thirds versions, they're up there with APS-C cameras. So with a new phase detect autofocus system that's as good as Canon and Sony, I would seriously wait for this announcement. If you're planning on buying any new camera in the next little while, you might want to pay attention to what Panasonic's about to announce. I wish I could tell you more about the date, but the source wasn't able to give me that information. But we do know CP Plus is coming this year on February the 2nd, and a lot of camera companies are looking at making announcements. Canon, for one, with the R50, the R100, or even the R1000, or maybe even a successor to the Canon EOS RP. But I think it would be really good for Panasonic to upstage everybody else, and right around the 22nd, a week before CP Plus starts on a Sunday, go ahead and announce this new camera, this new autofocus system, and start the fireworks, the band music, and everything else, because this sounds very exciting. And this, to me, makes sense as to why Panasonic is gathering everybody in Japan to get everybody together, because it's going to be a big announcement. That was a big mistake by Panasonic by not inviting me, because here I am spoiling their plans. And am I really spoiling their plans? You see, I've been talking about Panasonic for a long time and how I wish they would finally abandon this contrast detect autofocus system. I brought you Matt Fraser's interview earlier this year where he talked about researching another system. And then Yamani in his interview not too long ago where he talked about they're definitely researching, and on a scale of 0 to 100, they're about here. And I just sensed that something new was about to happen. And then, of course, we got Panasonic announcing a brand new autofocus system that's going to be in a new PTZ camera. And all the dots just sort of came together. And then, of course, this source of mine telling me about a new camera with a new phase detect autofocus system. Oh, so exciting. I'm not going to be, I haven't slept much this week. I've been on courses. I've been doing an awful lot of work, my proper work outside of the YouTube channel. I've been exhausted, and I was planning to go to bed right around, well, 8 o'clock, and that's almost now. So I don't know, maybe I'll even do a live stream. Let me know in the comment section down below if you'd like me to do a live stream so we can talk and celebrate about this. Let me know about that in the comment section down below. But that's it for now. I've got to get upstairs and start editing this. And if you want to stay up to date on all the latest news and rumors, all the news and rumors about Panasonic's new camera, the new autofocus system, and what other capabilities this camera might have, well, then go ahead and click that subscribe button and also choose all notifications. So that way, as soon as I publish a new video like this one here, well, you'll get notified by YouTube, and that saves you scrubbing all your favorite websites, YouTube channels, RSS feeds, Twitter feeds, print magazines, whatever it is. I cover everything, all the major camera brands, all the major camera models, all the major news and rumors. But that's it for now. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you again soon.